Already cancelled.
Please? Are you begging me to do it?
No, please don't.
You've just joined in on Yaz and Nishi discussing whether Yaz should fart in the
No,
studio.
you shouldn't.
It bubbled
Please.
back up into my
Oh,
tummy. It's
good.
all right.
Thank God.
Nishi, can you smell?
I didn't fart.
No,
No,
I
it's
can't.
not a fart smell. It's like a pissy.
I can smell a little bit of a piss smell.
No.
No, I'm joking. I feel bad. He actually has a what do you call it?
Do you know what happened to me this morning?
Yeah, I heard about it.
Do you know why I was late?
Yeah, no, I heard about it.
I was
Kim told me.
shaving my face in a puddle of cat piss.
Yeah.
I was standing in a puddle
Couldn't
of
you
cat
smell it? I don't get that.
piss. I did at the end of it, and I was like,
Right.
and I looked down and I was like, oh, I don't think that's shower water. And then my mum walked in and she goes, that's literally, I was meant to clean that, but then you went into the shower.
Yeah, because cat piss, honestly, is the strongest smell.
So potent. Yeah.
It's so potent. Like, I've never had cats, but I went into a house where a cat pissed and I could smell it from a mile away. Like,
Yeah, it's disgusting.
so I don't know how
But
you
you
were
know,
like,
you never know. Like you, Ryan, we spoke about this a few episodes ago. There's a guy called Jonathan Otto, which we've lined him up to come on the show soon. He swears by urine being something that heals. Have you actually seen your feet or rubbed your feet after? Is it good? Is it
Oh, I went into the shower again and washed my
yes.
like give it another day and see what your feet are like?
No,
Because it might actually be good for your feet, according to this guy.
Possibly. I don't know. I don't think cat piss is good for anything. If anything, cat piss is actually
toxic.
toxic, worse off.
Oh yeah, it's actually yeah.
You know, women,
Yeah.
women, especially women that are trying to get pregnant, are meant to stay away from like cat litter.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
the poo in the box. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is just specifically cat litter.
Well, yeah, something that comes out of the cat poo or cat piss can really affect
Yeah.
the birth something.
That's
I heard about
Interesting.
that as well.
Yeah, it's wild.
Well, we'll touch on all that soon. Whenever. I don't know why we would. Go back to
let's
Yaz's
not.
cat piss story.
Maybe
Yeah,
when we
let's
had
not.
this Otto.
Maybe bring up
bloke on.
John Otto. We'll get him. We'll have a chat about him. Okay, Yaz, you sent the video of Ryan Garcia as like a cut-up version of his live chat on TikTok.
Yeah.
And we've watched it. We've observed it. Has your thoughts changed on the whole situation with Ryan? Can you give us a recap?
Yeah, if you don't know what's happened, Ryan Garcia joined a little conference with Andrew Tate. I think it was about a week ago now.
Yeah.
And in that conference, he pretty much said he went down to, what's that thing called?
Bohemian Grove?
Bohemian Grove, which
Yeah.
conspiracy theorists will tell you that's where the elites go down to do rituals and stuff, right?
Yeah.
He said he was taken down there, and without being too graphic, he said he was tied down and he watched children being raped.
Yep.
That's what they were his words.
He was forced to. Yeah.
Forced to watch children get raped. And Andrew Tate was like, "Oh, maybe you don't want to say that, bro. They'll come for you." Blah blah blah. The follow up to that in the last couple days, Ryan Garcia has been painted in this light of having mental health issues and taking too much drugs, and he needs therapy and he needs all of this stuff, right?
Yeah.
So he decided to go on TikTok Live and explain his situation. And me listening to this last night, I kind of changed my opinion a little bit.
Because what you said last time that you thought it could possibly be a stunt. He's been hit in the head a few times.
Something like that. Like in my head, I'm like, it's not all there. Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
after seeing this, and maybe it's the suit he's wearing, he's really gone above and beyond to look respectable here. Done his hair nicely too.
Yeah.
Just have a listen to what he had to say.
People that told me not to do this, that it's gonna get bad for me. I don't care. I live for God. I don't live for anybody else. I'm gonna touch this really quick. Really quick. The rules of satanic worship is it needs to be in your plain sight. That's all I'm gonna say. So everything that I'm saying is right in front of your face. And you're not doing anything about it. You're not doing anything about it. I'm screaming to the world, putting my reputation on the line. I got people wanting to cancel the fight. People telling me I need to go to a mental rehab to put me into the psych ward because I'm speaking the truth. Please help me and you help the children. Jeffrey Epstein ain't the only island. That's what I will say. They blackmail each other so they can have a union where they won't snitch on each other. Think about that. They do horrible things together so they don't snitch against each other, and they're rich so they hold each other accountable. If you say something, I'm gonna say something, and everything comes down. Think about it. A lot of eyes on me, and I'm bringing awareness for the kids, the little kids that are hurting. I know you guys seen that video. I'm not even gonna say the name, but you know what I'm talking about. starts with the J.
Starts with a J.
That's how it ends, right?
Let me first say something
Wait,
here.
it starts with a J.
Yeah, starts with a J. That's the last thing you said. I've got to say this first. This podcast is called Already Cancelled. We ignore
What
that.
was
Someone
that?
accidentally touched a button. So ignore that.
Oh my God, that freaked
So
me out.
this podcast is called Already Cancelled.
That was freaky.
That was really
It was.
scary.
Right? And we touch on topics that not many other podcasts are going to touch on unless like they're the big ones around the world that can get to this stuff. Like, what's his name again? What's the biggest podcast in the world right now?
I know, Joe Rogan.
Rogan.
Probably Joe.
Joe Rogan would touch on topics like this. Right? Not many other ones here in Australia would. First off. So we have to touch on these things because you're not getting that, right? Secondly, there is what I feel a lot of genuine energy coming from him.
You
in
can
this
tell,
video.
right? You can see it.
The previous conversation that we heard about him with Andrew Tate, he seemed very riled up, very angry, very erratic. And it's hard to get your message across when you're like in that state.
Agreed.
Because all people are going to think of, oh, yeah, he's crazy.
He's crazy,
So
yeah.
that's why people would have labeled him. It's hard to say that he's crazy, lying, and a publicity stunt when he's giving that energy right now.
Wearing a suit as well. He put effort into that suit, man.
Look, I don't know. I think ultimately, yeah, it does come across that he's been traumatized and he seems very genuine, but like, you never know. You just don't know if it's true or not.
Why else?
Unless
Can I ask
there's
a question? What does he
proof.
have to benefit from going down this road?
Well, I mean, a lot of people are arguing that it's a Well, I
It's
hate-
a horrible publicity stunt.
Yeah,
It's not going to
right.
help your career in any way, shape, or form. If
I
anything, it's going to
understand
make
that.
it worse.
I understand that, but what people are saying is like, I mean, God, how many celebrities can you think of that have done some atrocious things, like in the name of PR, or if it's not PR, just done something that has taken all the media outlets. Their name is everywhere, and it goes back to that classic saying, you know, all publicity is good publicity. Now, I don't agree with that, me personally, but this is what people are saying.
Imagine being P. Diddy right now. That's not
That's
good
not good
publicity.
at all.
No, exactly. It's not good publicity. But, you know, once again, you've seen it time and time where people have done celebrities have done some really weird things on, like, let's say red carpets, or they've come
Yeah.
out and said some
That's small
crazy,
things, like-
outlandish stuff. No, I know. I guess what I'm trying to say is that this is what people are coming out and saying, that he's doing this to have his name in headlines, because he's not someone who is in the headlines really that much.
Oh, he is.
right?
He's more in the
bit.
socials, right? He's more big on the
Socials,
social
but I
media.
Socials
mean,
and
like-
in the sports world, he's
In the
massive.
sports world, he's
And
big.
But like,
And you know what? This is not something that's new to the sports world, especially the fighting sports world.
Yeah.
How many UFC members, like fighters, do you see come out and speak out about certain things?
yeah.
It's at nearly every conference there's one of them that says something that speaks out against.
Like who?
I don't know their names, bro. I'm not too, what's the name? But I always see clips of UFC fighters calling out things about the government, or calling out about presidents, and calling out about trafficking and all that stuff. They use their platform and they speak what they believe. Ryan Garcia, it's a good point you make up. What does he stand to gain? Since he's done this, people have called for his fight to be cancelled. People are saying go into a mental institution. You've seen this happen from time and time again. Happens with people like, I don't know, Kanye West, for example.
Yeah.
Now, Kanye West is very erratic, so that's why they claim
He's got a track record of
he's got the track record.
doing some wild
Like
shit.
he jumped on stage in front of like a 16-year-old girl, Taylor Swift. I don't know how old she was at the time, and did
Yeah.
that thing with Beyonce.
Yeah.
And then he's obviously slandered, and then obviously
Well, don't
that's
forget-
continued.
don't
But Ryan's never done anything other than box before.
Yeah.
I've never seen him come out and do anything crazy.
Yeah.
He's very religious. People in the
Extremely.
comments are saying they see him go to their same church.
Yeah.
He's a
Yeah.
very religious guy. He's speaking with genuine energy here. And what's weird here is that, you know, the all-seeing eye Illuminati, the eye thing? You know,
Yeah.
you got the eye for the Illuminati, for example?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got that tattooed on his left hand
With the pyramid as well.
with the pyramid.
Yeah.
And people are saying in the comments, okay, it's interesting that you're saying that, but you got the tattoo as well. But people confuse that tattoo for being like this satanic thing, but also it represents the pineal gland, if you've ever heard of the pineal
Oh,
gland in your
yeah.
brain,
Yeah.
which is
The
your
third
your
eye.
spiritual, it's essentially your mind, right? Your
Yes.
spiritual access to your mind.
I wouldn't read into tattoos anyway. People
Neither
just,
would I.
people just get shit because it looks
I mean, look at
Yeah.
Yaz. Yaz has got so many different tattoos. They all have meanings to you.
No, definitely
Some of them
not.
do, some of them don't.
Majority don't, to be honest.
I
with
just
you.
want to
Yeah.
say, from seeing this video and putting the dots together with other people that have said the exact same things. Go research, and I know this is going to sound wild, everybody, but I'm just not going to be filtered anymore. Go research Alex Jones, for example. Mm-hmm. Is it Alex Jones?
I think
Is
so.
he the guy who snuck into?
Yeah, he snuck in and he showed that. Go and listen to David Icke. Now, some of his stuff is wild. Like, some of it's crazy. But something that he mentioned was that they get together and they all do these horrible things together in order to blackmail each other. It happened on the Jeffrey Epstein Island. That's why he had so much power over everyone.
And don't forget, guys, the whole Jeffrey Epstein Island thing started off as a conspiracy. Don't ever forget that. It took one person to come out and say something and they got labeled crazy. And look at it. They found all the evidence. Now, my question to you two guys, I want you guys to be put in Mr. Garcia's shoes.
Yeah.
Right? What does he need to do to prove to the public or to get people on his side?
Well, I mean, he in his first, when we covered it initially, and I forget what it was, but when he came out and talked about it for the first time, he said that he had proof, right?
He said he's got a video,
He's got a video, so I just don't understand why he would he's coming out and saying all this stuff anyway.
Let's say hypothetically he doesn't have a video, right? All he has is his eyewitness and his words.
Well, then that's all he has, really. What
would you do in this situation? Would you keep pushing it? Would you keep saying, guys, this is true, please believe me, and making videos?
I'll be very honest. Obviously, if someone's going through that kind of trauma and they've seen this, and let's, say I saw something like this or whatever, I went through what he went through, of course I'd be speaking up about it. You don't know what the consequences are as well. He might be in a very scared place. I don't know. He's very open about it. So, but other instances, people might be blackmailed. If you do this, we'll come for your family. I don't know what the situation is. It would be very scary, is what I'm saying. So I can understand why people wouldn't want to talk about it if they're scared their livelihood is going to be impacted. But of course, if you've seen something like that, I think naturally you want to talk about it because you want to build awareness.
All this is doing is broadening our understanding of what goes on in this world. That's all this is doing. Whether you believe it or not doesn't matter. What it is knowing that things like this can possibly exist whilst you're running around in the matrix, going to work and being a good worker, or being a good, whatever, a citizen, the shit's going down.
Of course. No, can I ask you guys a question? Just you guys. I want to ask you a question, okay? Just say yes if you believe it. Do you believe there's a hierarchy that controls the world?
Yes.
Okay.
You got really rich families who have a lot of impact on industry and that has a domino effect.
So that's a yes, right? Do we agree that there is child trafficking in this world?
Yes. Yeah, that's the 100%.
And it's right under our noses.
So we agree with that, right? Do you believe that those in charge of those trafficking are probably extremely high profile people who have power?
Yes.
Well, there'll definitely be people like that in high power. Yeah. But once again,
so why can't Ryan Garcia see it for himself?
Well, yeah, exactly. I think
you know what I'm saying?
You know what it is? I think it's the whole, the Bohemian Grove thing and Satanism and then going through rituals and this when it gets to what has been a conspiracy theory for so long and then you have someone who's really well known, put into one of those rituals and, comes out, I think that's when it gets a bit muddy because people go, but that's just a conspiracy. And people go, no, but he's seen it. Look at him. He's talking about it, and then.
But we know these things, what I'm saying is we know these things exist. Yeah. But when we put the puzzle pieces together and he makes this photo, everyone all of a sudden is saying, oh, no, conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Why?
You believe in the puzzle pieces, but you don't believe in the finished product.
Yeah, you don't believe in the full picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you know why? You were told that it's not real. You were told that it doesn't happen.
Exactly.
You were told that.
And what happens?
But
it's not about believing anymore, right?
Yeah.
It's just the whole concept that if it's been talked about, it's a possibility that it can exist, and that should broaden your mind. What I think he should be doing is actual a bit more groundwork. He should be working with people around how to actually do something about it.
Yeah.
Talking about it's great.
There's people out there.
But then there are people out there. Wasn't there a movie that was released mid last year?
Sound of Freedom.
There.
And
that's a true story, by the way.
It's about the guy that literally went and done stuff. I'm not saying go be an action hero.
No.
It's about building up these organizations that work against it. And don't just so everyone knows, it's not all doom and gloom in this world. There are people out there that are doing that. There are people out there that are trying to protect humanity in terms of our spiritual sense and our physical sense, and actually trying to defend against these types of crimes against humanity.
Well, the guy from Sound of Freedom, like, I actually haven't seen the movie yet, but
You haven't seen it?
No.
Amazing film.
Yeah, I really want to watch it.
But it'll mess you up.
Yeah, well, I was looking at the guy, I forget his name, but his interviews where he talks about what he did in his life,
Yeah.
and like, you know, and he did various interviews, and I don't know why, I was constantly listening to them, and it made me sick to my stomach, the things that he witnessed and what he had to do to like save, you know, kids and everything.
So why does everyone believe him?
Oh, you're talking about the actual officer,
Like, yeah, the guy,
not the actor, the officer.
No, the actual person behind the story,
Yeah,
like it was, you know, full on. I think to your point, Kian, like, why don't people believe him? I think there's a lot of people that do believe him, you know, but you're going to always get both sides, because I think it's good to take things, you know, with a grain of salt as well. Like, I think if anyone comes out with a story, it's
100%.
You know, you should
don't go
always
full
you should
blown
critical
in.
think about it and go, okay, critically think what makes sense. And I'm not saying that what he's saying isn't true. In fact, he comes across very genuine and authentic. And especially that TikTok live that we just heard, it, you know, makes me inclined to be like, oh my God, like,
We should look into this.
yeah. But you have a lot of people supporting him, but as you say, like, as it naturally is the case, there's a lot of people that are also like, well, things are not adding up. Why aren't you showing the video? Why aren't you showing this?
Yeah, well,
And all
that's
that
as well,
kind of
because he said he
stuff.
had a video. But here's the thing, right? If you had the video, would you drop it? Would you release
That
it?
could be his death certificate. That could be the signature on his death certificate. You don't know. If he continues down this road, right? If he continues down this road and there's any merit to what he's saying, he hasn't got much long left on this planet. That's the sad truth.
But,
'Cause
like,
we've seen
it would be
we've-
obvious though if something happens to him now, especially with the way social media is. Like,
Yeah.
everyone's eyes are on him at the moment because, like, honestly, when I go to my newsfeed, all I see is like Ryan Garcia, blah 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 blah
Yeah,
blah.
yeah, yeah.
If something happens to him now,
It's obvious.
it's obvious.
But it's happened in the past.
But when
obvious stuff has happened in the past.
when you go down this track, you have to be prepared to die for it.
100%.
You have to be, because that's what the outcome is. And it's not just child trafficking. We've seen throughout our whole history of this stuff happening.
Yeah.
Martin Luther King, for example, in the States, spoke about something, killed in the back alley. You know what I mean? Like, this happens all the time. And there's obviously rumors around Avicii and, you know, the guy from Linked Park. What is it?
Lincoln Park.
Lincoln Park. Like,
Yeah.
there's all these rumors about all these people that apparently were, you know, standing up and in documentaries and stuff, which they say that it's not true
No,
or
but
whatever.
it is, though.
But
When you look at Avicii's story, right, and what he used to speak out about, even his last video clip that ever dropped before he died, the whole video clip, which, by the way, the song had nothing to do with it. The video clip was completely about child trafficking and how it works. Have you watched the
Really?
video
I
clip?
haven't seen it,
Yeah,
no.
so the video clip from beginning to end is a child being sex trafficked, but the song has nothing to do with it.
what?
Yeah, and I think they were saying something about him and a few other celebs that were starting a documentary, right?
yes, I wish I'll pull the list up, because this was the rumor. All right, Avicii, Chester Bennington, he's the guy from Lincoln Park.
Yep.
I can't keep saying LinkedIn. I've got to update my profile, by the way. Chris Cornell, who's another American musician, and then Anthony Bourdain, Bourdain. He's
That's a
a
chef?
chef in the States as well.
Yeah.
You know, look, they say it's been officially debunked, whatever,
Right.
but, you know, these are the things that's going on. All I can say, it just broadens your reality. It opens you up.
No, but
And
before we continue, we got to tell them what this documentary was.
Well, yeah, what was
And
this
what
documentary?
it
happened
was
to
about
them?
child trafficking
It was
and then
about-
subsequently dying under suspicious
They
circumstances.
all died under suspicious circumstances.
Right.
We can't just skim past that
And,
like
but
it
it
didn't
got
happen.
it got debunked. Did you say?
Avicii, who would always, and I get it, you can't pick someone that's depressed or, you know, that's suicidal. You can't see it in their eyes. But he had plans for the future. Now, that's one thing that people that take their own life don't have, right? They don't have these plans for the future. He had a massive plan for the future. Huge plan. And then all of a sudden, he's found dead. And apparently from what the authorities in Oman said where he was found, it was like the bloodiest thing they've ever seen in their life.
Really?
When they walked into the apartment that he was staying at. I'm sorry, but someone that's going to take their own life, it's not really going to be that. As if, you know, he's been thrown around the room. It's wild. It's wild. And it's hard to believe anything in this world. I don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
all we can do is see and watch the story unfold for Ryan. It'll be interesting to see if he fights, if the fight's still going to happen that he's got lined up, and if there's any other lives or anything that comes to it.
Yeah.
But yes, just be vigilant and open your eyes and just have a look around the world, because it's not always as it seems.
Yeah, that's true.
And yeah, red pill, blue pill.
Already cancelled.
If you like the podcast, prove it. Like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to leave us a cheeky review.